Hi, I'm Joshua Curving, and welcome to another Death Battle prediction video. But first, we have Might Guy versus All Might. So this fight was phenomenal. Like, I'm pretty sure Might Guy versus All Might is currently in my top 5 episodes, like, of the show in general. It was just so well done. Like the rundowns for both characters and how they both kind of finished with the note that like they were leaving it to someone who could be a splendid ninja / smiling hero just like they are. It was paid very good respects to both characters. The music for the fight is easily my favorite track they've made for Death Battle. And then the fight itself was just stunning. I said in my prediction that I was really curious how they were going to go about Guy dying after Night Guy, because I knew that there was no chance that they were not going to use it. That much was just obvious. So in the end, they decided kind of killing him, because one of the things that they did point out, both one of the researchers and the writer for the episode has confirmed that the intent was that there was going to be a scene of Naruto coming out and healing Guy to prevent him from dying after the fight was over. I'm going to go ahead and choose to continue to believe that as canon, personally. But then they also made the statement that Guy didn't ultimately need the 8th gate to win. The island destruction feat would probably be higher than All Might would really be able to handle. So other than that, like, I basically have no complaints for it. Oh, actually, there's one thing, is that it's likely just due to the fact that they wanted to kind of make it seem closer, but they potentially highballed All Might's stats with the statement that he was, I think, what, 60 times stronger, because of the fact that when the Nomu that nullified Force, when it was nullifying things, he had to use more hits, right? So they said that he would have been 60 times stronger to do it in the 300, I think it was. Yeah, 300 to 5, I think was what it was. So, but realistically speaking, if the Nomu nullifies damage, let's just break this down into like a, say, video gamey stats, just to kind of, let's just say it nullifies 10 damage and you do 11 damage, you're dealing 1 to it. But if you deal 15 damage, not even 2 times the amount, you're still dealing 5 damage, which is 5 times more. So I don't necessarily know if the way that they analyzed the Nomu's nullification of those hits was the best way to do it, but ultimately they came to the same conclusion anyway, and yeah, I really don't have for him. That's a super nitpicky point. So now we have the season finale, or sorry, season premiere. Last one was the season finale. So we have Static versus Miles Morales. This is actually a really good fight that I'm really glad that they're doing. Partly because we would have gotten to see Deku get torn apart if it was Miles versus Deku as everyone wanted. So, in terms of who wins, it mostly comes down to the fact that at the end of the day, Static does have higher feats, even in terms of speed. Some of the ones that they're going to be including, I believe one of the researchers actually said that they're going to kind of be leaning full on into some of the feats and stats that Marvel characters have slightly been denied for a long time in Death Battle. So we're probably going to be getting like Mach 6000 or something like that, Miles, and probably about town level, I would think. Mostly, I think, scaling to some of the other characters that he's fought. And then that said, you have to go into Static. And He has several like laser dodging feats that would put him at relativistic speeds, so he's faster likely. And he also has feats that are between town to city level, so it's almost close in terms of that. But then you have the additional factors of Static's other powers. Like Virgil has some crazy shit that he's done. Like he's ionized the air to put out a fire, I think it was. So reasonably speaking, if they're in a fairly small room or something like that, then he could potentially suffocate him. He can put out EMPs. He can just blow up things like guns. So the fact that Miles is not like... he uses tech for his web slinging and things like that. A lot of his suit is more technical than anything else. So he's actually going to be losing out on a lot of his powers when Virgil starts nullifying various things. And he can just magnetize people to things just telekinetically, which even just makes the speed point kind of moot. He's pulled himself back together when he was dismembered, just with electricity. He just kind of put himself back together. I really just don't think that there's all that much that like Miles would be able to do to win here. The fight will be interesting, though. We just saw a preview of it, and it looks pretty solid. And yeah, just I'm curious how it's going to go. The music is definitely fitting for this one. So yeah, we'll see it after this one. But there's one thing that I do want to talk about before I head off, and that is the 5 other characters that have been teased for this season. So the characters that were shown were Miles, Krona, Sindel, Danny Phantom, Obi-Wan, and then either Beerus or Goku. Because technically the shot that they showed was Beerus fighting Goku, so there's technically nothing that says that it isn't Goku. We just believe that it's Beerus, because it'd be much more interesting to have Beerus than Goku. So let's actually just ponder for a moment as to who we think that these characters are going to be fighting. For Beerus, I actually would prefer that he fight the great llama god that is Arceus, which I believe Arceus claps him pretty hard. Other people think that he's going to be fighting a Sailor Moon villain, a Saint Seiya character. There's a couple people he could face, but I personally prefer to see Arceus. Next would be Sindel, who is probably going to be fighting Black Canary. I can't imagine too many curveballs you could throw for that one. Yeah, I'm not really too interested in that one, just because Mortal Kombat has never really been all that much of my favorite series, and Sindel is definitely not my favorite character of that series. Danny Phantom... Now, I think I recall them saying that it wasn't going to be Jake Long and it wasn't going to be Yusuke, which is weird, because those are kind of his 2 big matchups. Really makes me curious as to who it would be if not. I would have guessed Jake Long, because that's the one that people have been requesting forever. People have always wanted Jake Long versus Danny Phantom. They even did it as a community death battle the one time, I believe. And that's kind of been a running theme that happens a lot, is that they will take a death battle and put it on the community death battle to see reception to it. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to go on with that. Obi-Wan, I hope, fights Kakashi, because that's a really cool fight, and it's also my favorite Star Wars character against my second favorite Naruto character, which basically means that if they include the expanded universe stuff, Obi-Wan, like, stomps him pretty hard. But that's fine, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is, like, the best. And then we have Krona. I profess that I'm not all that knowledgeable on Soul Eater. The main people that I've seen come up for Krona is Carnage and the Tokyo Ghoul guy. So I can't confirm one way or the other whether those are close or thematic, but that's what I've basically heard. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much my guesses for what I think we're gonna get for those 6 characters. Well, 5 characters. We know one of them. And yeah, I will see you guys next time when we either get a totally different matchup or another one of those 5. And I will see you guys then.